Hey, War Gamers. Purple Druid here. I'm also a fantasy role-playing gamer, not just a war gamer. And I've been involved with role-playing games and Dungeons and Dragons specifically since around 83, summer after my 7th grade year, when some of my classmates, their older brothers, ran us through a couple of sessions before they went off to college. And so all the changes coming through over the years, personally, I don't think what is called D&D today is actually D&D. And now it's going to change again. And the big topic online is how Dungeons and Dragons is under-monetized. And there is a thing called recurrent spending model that's used by many video games and online multiplayer games. And I saw a stat, I think, or heard a quote, that something like 70% of video game revenue comes from post-sale purchases for in-game extras, in-game goodies, upgrades, and what have you. So I wanted to make this video because I just watched Venger's video about his thoughts on where this is going. And while I agree with some of the things, I have to disagree. I don't think everything is going to be gray. I think everything is going to be pink and blue and lime and lavender, and all for just $1.99. There's also articles going around about a Dungeon Master shortage. And in my opinion, if there is a Dungeon Master shortage for the 5e game, it's because of the LARPing streamers, and it's a sure sign that D&D as we knew it is already dead. Venger thinks WotC's about to kill it. I think that it's out of print, so to speak, but what we old guys think of as D&D will carry on. But we're just going to have to call it something else. There are a lot of articles about how fandoms get wrecked by posers and narcissists that come in later when the subject of the fandom becomes popular. And if I have some time, I'll try to link those down below. But just, Google how fandoms get ruined by entryists, that sort of thing, and you'll find it. And I would say that, frankly, 5e is already a watered-down, least common denominator character creation game. The biggest part of the 5e Player's Handbook is about character creation. And so if a rule book reflects what kind of game it is, then I think that is the giveaway. Surveys done by Wizards of the Coast show that the average campaign for the 5e player or Dungeon Master lasts only six sessions. 6. What is that? That's not a campaign. That's not a campaign. That's just a series of adventures. Probably played straight through, as it were, all in 1 or 2 days. Certainly not paying attention to downtime, not paying attention to character development outside of the actual adventure session. So I'm going to say that I'm glad that Wizards is taking what they call D&D into an online walled garden. This will finally draw a bright, distinct line between the new schoolers / story gamers and the old people that are playing D&D and its spin-offs correctly. Fantasy roleplay gaming can and will be carried on by people playing the game with an old school repertoire of techniques and mindsets and attitudes and methodologies. I say let Wizards and the Sparkle Trolls have the rainbow D&D logo. Let them wear the skin suit. I'm not going to cry over it because any sense of gaming being the most important thing about D&D was chucked by the wayside years ago. It's well on its way to being a full-on lifestyle brand status, and more power to them. I say it will be of immense benefit to the FRP communities if the sparklers and the story gamers and the backstory writers go into Wizard's Castle. It may be rough on the indie artists that draw characters for the sparklers, but I imagine they will just start selling templates and shopping lists for all the goodies that you can buy for your character on the OneD&D subscription site. And finally, there's one other angle. Wizards is sad because they have found that it's the dungeon masters who are only 20% of the market, 20% of the consumers, and they're the ones spending most of the money on their Skinsuit D&D products. And there seems to be a shortage of dungeon masters for all the story gamers. Oh no. Well, I understand they just hired 300 some programmers. So, enter the AI chatbot. Story players won't need dungeon masters. They can get plausible stories with their scripted lines fed to them, all for a low subscription fee. No longer will they have to use their imagination, and it'll be just like grade school and high school where they got a trophy just for showing up. All right, that's my rant. Tell me what you think. Leave a comment down below. And I look forward to continuing the conversation. Keep on gaming.